attempting to convince people that the values of the modern West are Christian values, Christian excusagists like to talk about human dignity and the idea of universal human rights. We are made in the image of God, they'll say. Could there be any idea more indicative of human value and worth? Well, the answer to that question is yes. There absolutely and obviously could. This idea of being made in the image of God appears in the very first chapter of the Bible, just 27 verses in. And yet there is nothing following verse 27 indicating that universal human dignity or human rights are values embraced by the tribal war god of Abraham at all. Immediately thereafter, God allows a being he created to trick the very first humans into destroying the paradise he allegedly created for them, bringing endless suffering and misery to humanity. And according to Christians, God knew exactly what he was doing. Just a few chapters later, God is drowning everyone on the planet save 8 for not behaving the way he would like them to, despite the fact that he'd not yet told people how he'd like them to behave. From my old buddy Dennis Prager of PragerU fame, go Devils, regarding the flood, quote, God created man without giving him the 10 Commandments or any other revealed moral instruction. The only moral code was the one God built into the human being, the conscience. Clearly, this was not enough to make a good world. The world sank into evil. End quote. If we're not living in the land of fairy tales and imagining the universe to be just a few thousand years old, then we have the problem hitch raised. Modern humans have been around for a couple 100,000 years, meaning God stood by watching humans live and suffer and die, all while able to help out in every way imaginable, and then decided just 4,000 years ago to warn us about mixing fabrics and eating shellfish. Human dignity? Not so much. Of course, it's all downhill from there. Next up, we have the tribal war god of Abraham instructing his chosen people on how and where to get their slaves. Not debt servants who were freed after 7 years, as the excusagist will try to claim, but full-on slaves, property, to be passed on as an inheritance, complete with instructions on just how severely you can beat your slaves and still be in the God of Love's good graces. Can you feel the dignity? If not, try this one on for size. Quote, in the cities of the nations the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, do not leave alive anything that breathes. Completely destroy them, end quote. Yeah, no sending a prophet or messenger to teach and warn the people, giving them instructions on how they should live, complete with demonstrations of God's power. Just utter destruction. Because, human rights and dignity. Utter destruction is the Christian value. And lest you think Jesus any better, let's remember that it was gentle Jesus, meek and mild, who brought hell into the picture. It's the Christians who gave us the idea that humanity is so depraved from birth and the original sin we're born into that every single one of us deserves an eternity of unrelenting suffering, abuse, and violence. You can find Christian excusagists right here on YouTube defending that idea to this day. That's the Christian idea of human dignity. And that's exactly how things played out when Christians had all the power in the world to make the world in its image. Christians learned from their holy book and followed their big brains like Augustine and Aquinas, who advocated torture for heresy. Because freedom of thought and the right to practice any religion or none were also nowhere to be found among the values of the Christians. Forget what the Bible says and just look at how Christians treated people when Christianity was at its peak. Did Christians see the dignity of the Native Americans when they arrived here in the New World? How about the native peoples of India or Africa or Australia? Did they see all people as being created in the image of God? Of course not. That one line, just 27 verses in, was nothing but lip service. The rest of the book has no regard for human dignity, even less if you don't have the preferred reproductive equipment. Next month, we'll continue to look at the values now embraced in the secular West and see if we can find those values clearly articulated in the Christian canon, or in the behavior and decrees of the Christian authorities whose power was, for centuries, nearly absolute. I don't want to give anything away. I hate spoilers, so you'll have to stay tuned to find out. Until then, I'm me. Thanks for watching.